In a video a year ago, I explained to you how non-Teslas would soon be getting supercharger access and how the EV industry in North America would soon be transitioning away from the CCS connector and towards the North American Charging Standard, or NACS, or the Tesla connector, or J3400. It has too many names. And to demonstrate why supercharger access was such a big deal, I took this Polestar 2 and a rented Tesla Model 3 from St. Louis, Missouri down to Chattanooga, Tennessee, stopping at nearly every charger along the way. In the Tesla, I stopped only at superchargers and had no issues. But in this Polestar, I stopped only at CCS chargers and had nothing but issues, from power limitations to broken chargers to annoying activation processes. It wasn't a good experience. But that was over a year ago now. The charging world is very different now. Ford, Rivian, General Motors, Volvo, and Polestar currently have supercharger access, and the CCS networks have been upgrading and expanding at an incredible rate. Along that St. Louis to Chattanooga route, several new charging stations have been built, and many of the old ones have been either repaired or replaced. It's only a year later, but things have seemingly improved dramatically. So it only seems right I redo that trip from last year. I drive over 400 miles from St. Louis to Chattanooga, stopping at nearly every charger along the way. Except this year, I won't be taking a Tesla and a Polestar. This Polestar has supercharger access now, so I'll be using it to demonstrate the supercharger experience. And to demonstrate the CCS experience, well, I could also use this, but that would be boring. So instead, I'm going to use a Kia EV6. This doesn't have supercharger access yet. It will next year, but it doesn't right now. I've borrowed that Kia from my mom. It's my mom's EV6. I brought this EV6 along to demonstrate the CCS experience for two reasons. One, it charges incredibly quickly, so it'll go faster. But also, it has an 800-volt battery, which is simultaneously a cheat code and a complication. The Kia's battery is actually closer to 700 volts, but it's called an 800-volt car, and this Polestar is a 400-volt car. In the Kia, I'll be stopping only at CCS stations, because that's all I can use right now. And in the Polestar, I'll be stopping only at superchargers, because I can do that now with this adapter. This EV6 can charge at a peak rate of 240 kilowatts, the little monster. And this Polestar can charge at a peak rate of 150 kilowatts. Will my experience using CCS chargers be better than the horrible experience I had using CCS along this route last year? Will my experience using superchargers with the Polestar be just as smooth sailing as it was with the Tesla last year? Last year, the goal of this trip was to show you why supercharger access was such a big deal. But this year, the goal is to answer a question. Is supercharger access really that big of a deal anymore? And just like last year, I'd like to remind you that this is not representative of a normal EV road trip. I'm going to be stopping at nearly every charger. If this is a normal trip, I'd only need to stop once or twice. This is charger sampling to show you a snapshot of the charging infrastructure at one particular time and place. And this is only relevant for long distance trips. Most people charge their EVs at home most of the time. Anyway, let's get started. I'm currently en route to my first stop on I-55 South, and already I've lied to you. I'm going to stop entirely at superchargers in this Polestar after the first stop, which is a CCS charger, which I'm going to in the Polestar and the EV6 to demonstrate something. In the Kia, I'm on my way to the same place, Perryville, Missouri, of Francis Energy, 150 kilowatts, and the car says I'll make it with 14%, which seems very wrong. Very pessimistic. I bet I'm going to get there with like 20%. Not that it matters, because in this car, if I arrive with anything less than 50%, I'll get full power. By the way, just a little side note, the built-in navigation in this car is dog water. I hope they've improved it over the years. This car is a 22. But for some reason, I doubt it. It's terrible. I've made it to Perryville, Missouri, and I can't get to the charger because someone's had an accident. What do I do here? Oh no, a PT Cruiser has died. Anyway, I'm revisiting the first charger stop from last year, a Francis Energy at a hotel. This was my favorite. That was sarcasm. This was the first stop last year, and I didn't like it last year because these are advertised to 150 kilowatts, but they can't physically output that on 400-volt cars. And what's worse is this one only gave me 50 kilowatts. So let's fire up the Francis Energy app and see if it's improved this year. I should get 80 kilowatts on my 400-volt car. As a reminder, power in watts is just the voltage times the amperage, and 1 kilowatt is 1,000 watts. This particular Francis Energy has cables that are limited to 200 amps, and the Polestar has a 400-ish volt battery. So the maximum I can get out of this station is 80,000 watts, or 80 kilowatts. These chargers may be capable of putting out 150 kilowatts, but because the cables are limited to 200 amps, the car's battery would have to be at least 750 volts to get the full 150 kilowatts. Holiday Inn, again, terrible place to put a charger. This is Hippo 3. 150 kilowatts, you're lying to me. Connect and swipe. Because I'm in guest mode, I have to manually enter in my credit card information. This isn't terrible at all. Maybe I should just set up an account. Or maybe these chargers should have credit card readers. Communicating with vehicle. Charging will begin shortly. Good news! It's not limited to 50 kilowatts this year. They fixed it. It is still limited to 200 amps, which means nowhere near 150 kilowatts on my 400 volt car. But this isn't a 400 volt car. CCS, 150 kilowatts, connect and swipe. I gotta enter in my stupid credit card information, stupid manually. Okay, now I can connect it. Give me. It made the clunk sound. It made the clunk sound. Say the thing.
Charging started.
Yeah. All right, we should be getting 150 kilowatts. Are we getting? 142 kilowatts. Well, I was going to say 800 volt cars are a cheat code, but really they're a cheat code because these chargers are set up improperly. If they put proper cables on them, you wouldn't need an 800 volt car to unlock the actual advertised power that the charger says it can do. I hope that was a good demonstration, and that's why I stopped in Perryville in the Polestar as well. But from here on out, I'm only going to be stopping at not CCS stations in the Polestar. I'm leaving Perryville with 26%. I've only got 31 miles to go to the supercharger in Cape Girardeau, Missouri. My projected arrival is 9%. Now, to pick CCS chargers on this trip, since there are more CCS chargers than last year, I'm going to have some criteria. First of all, I've got the filter set to obviously CCS. Let's turn off NACS because I'm not in a NACS car now. CCS, and I've put the minimum power at 100 kilowatts. There we go. And I'm going to stop at every CCS charger along the route, which is entirely up to my discretion. There's no hard rules here. So if I go down toward Cape Girardeau, the next charger is this little guy, which calls itself a 120 kilowatt charger. Because I'm in an 800 volt car, it probably will be a 120 kilowatt charger. I'm up to 33% now. I'm going to unplug. Assuming this is a touchscreen, which it appears to be, it's not working. Stop charging. Wait. Can I like press real hard on it? No. Okay, well, we're going to do it the hard way then.
Charging unsuccessful.
Charging intercepted. On to Cape Girardeau, which is 30 miles away. And by the way, because the route guidance in this car is trash, I've switched over to using Android Auto and Google Maps. We've arrived in Cape Girardeau at the first supercharger stop, which is very conveniently right off the interstate at a gas station. How nice is that? There's the supercharger, all 8 stalls of it. Oh, there's so many options and there's no one here. Which one do I go for? Do I go for 2D, 2C, 2B? I'm gonna go 1C. Yeah, that's a good looking charger. And how does a non-Tesla charge at a supercharger? With the adapter, like this. Supercharger handle just plugs in, I lock it, and plug it in. Although I'm not gonna do that yet because I have to activate the charger. And how does a non-Tesla activate the charger? Well, if you have a Rivian or a Ford, they support plug and charge. So like a Tesla, you can just plug it in, they'll authenticate, they'll bill your account, and they'll start charging. But I've got a Polestar, so I have to use the Tesla app. Not the fastest thing in the world. Charger EV. It always puts me in Africa. Now it's loaded my location, Cape Girardeau, Missouri. 8 of 8 stalls available. NACS DC adapter required to charge. And further on down the page, there's some photos. And at the bottom, it says the important thing, supported Ford, Rivian, General Motors, Volvo, and Polestar. I have one of those. So I'm gonna hit charge here. 1C, start charging. And we'll see how long it takes I've already got my adapter attached. We'll see how long it takes to charge. Oh, it's already charging. And there we go, 152 kilowatts. That's full power, and it's awesome. I don't think I've mentioned this yet, but the Polestar only got access to superchargers a few days ago. And as such, the nav in the car doesn't know it has access to superchargers and tells me everywhere I'm navigating to, the plugs are not compatible. Supercharger access is more important in some places than others. Here in Cape Girardeau, Missouri, it's super important, because the other options in this town suck. Good news! I've arrived at the terrible charger at the wonderful gas station, and it's working. I was through here 2 days ago in the Polestar, and it was very much not working. Well, I should say, the lights are green. I don't actually know if it's working. Let's find out. Just like last year, there's no credit card reader on this thing. I have to use the EV Connect app. Use as guest, because I don't want to log in. Scan the QR code. Not really a terrible system. Now it says 120 kilowatts. Last year when I was here in the Polestar and plugged in, I was only getting 60 kilowatts for who knows what reason. It didn't seem to be an amperage limitation, it just seemed to be a configuration limitation. We'll see if it's different this year. Pick one. There we go. That seems fine. Google Pay. It's a bonus over the Francis Energy garbage. Which one did I pick? Let's go with this one. Sure, why not? Just a big old meaty cable. Did I pick the right one? I don't think I did. Come on, give me the cable. Your charge set, yep, okay. Now here's the question. Are we getting the advertised 120 kilowatts? We are! 119 kilowatts. I fully expected it to still be limited to 60 kilowatts. I noticed something about that charger after I left on the PlugShared listing. If I scroll down to description, you'll see 60 kilowatts DC for 400 volt EVs, 120 kilowatts DC for 800 volt EVs. So yes, I did only get 120 kilowatts out of that charger because I showed up with an 800 volt car. It has 200 amp limited cables on it. There's another identical charger just down the street, 2 miles away. And last year when I stopped at that one, it gave me 30 kilowatts. The next supercharger that I can use is 107 miles away in Katawa, Kentucky. There is a supercharger in the permitting phase in Paducah, but it doesn't exist yet, so I can't charge there. The last charger at the gas station was just right off the interstate. This one is in town, so I wouldn't consider this to be an on-the-route charger in the slightest. However, I only got 30 kilowatts out of a 120 kilowatt charger last year, so I want to see if they fixed it. So we're gonna find out now. There it is. It's the ACs. All right, same thing, EV Connect app. Use as guest. Scan the thing. And which connector is it? Nobody knows. Oh man, these cables are just so massive. I picked the wrong connector again. Man, if only they were labeled, that would be nice. Ooh. All right, what sort of speeds are we gonna get at this one? Last year I got 30 kilowatts, which is pathetic for something that's labeled. I'm getting 120 kilowatts. Look at that. Oh, I'm excited. It's outputting its advertised output. All right, I will charge here for an indeterminate amount of time. There is another charger in this town, but it's way over here to the side, and that is absolutely not along the route. So we're gonna go over here. I think the next charger is in Paducah. There it is. Electrify America at a Walmart. And we're gonna go there next. All right, we're at 64% now. It says we'll arrive with 10%. Time to unplug. Hit stop. Takes a while. Takes a while. Now I can pull out this, hang it up, and then reclaim my adapter. Let's go. It says now we'll arrive with 11%. Let's get out of Cape Girardeau. I charged up way more than necessary there. I'm at 57%, estimated 148 miles of range, and there's 70 miles to the next charger. But unlike any sort of Tesla, the battery doesn't have to be at the exact right temperature, and I don't have to be at the exact right state of charge to get peak speeds. All I have to do is arrive with anything less than 50% state of charge and a battery that isn't cold, and I'll get the full over 200 kilowatts. Hello again, lovely Cape Girardeau Bridge. Goodbye, Cape Girardeau. Normally this route between Cape Girardeau and wherever it is I'm going is very boring. But now, well, it's still boring, but at least there's pretty fall colors to look at. This is the boring part through the southern tip of Illinois on very slow roads, but I found something to entertain myself. This car is 2 years old, 27,000 miles, but over here on the door handle is still the protective plastic film. I'm gonna peel it off. I'm bored again. Hey look, it's some barges. And a really old bridge I'm about to cross over into Kentucky. Now I'm on the terrifyingly narrow bridge. People used to cross this with horses and buggies, but now there's semis on it. I'm now entering the scary old narrow bridge in the EV6. Welcome to Kentucky. Not quite. There's the sign. I'm hungry. I've been editing this video and I forgot to eat. Thankfully, this video is sponsored by Factor, ready-to-heat meals delivered straight to your door. Factor meals are delivered in a chilled box like this one, but completely different, straight to your door. So when you're hungry, all you have to do is pick your Factor meal, stab the film to vent it, the film, there we go, and pop it in the microwave for 2 minutes. I mean, just like that, I'm already eating it. Your Factor meal is ready to eat. This is pesto bacon and tomato chicken bake, and it is fantastic. Factor meals are always delicious, and you have a variety of options, including Calorie Smart, Keto, and Vegan. They also have delicious add-ons to try, like smoothies and cold-pressed juices and other stuff. I don't hesitate to recommend Factor to people because I do genuinely love these meals. If you want to try Factor for yourself, go to Factor75.com, and this time use code 50AgingWheels. The code's changed slightly to get 50% off your first box plus free shipping. Again, that's code 50AgingWheels at Factor75.com to get 50% off your first box plus free shipping. You're gonna love it. I love these meals. And the best part about making these ads is I get to eat. It's so good. Now back to the road trip where I ate like garbage. I am now arriving at the Walmart in Paducah, Kentucky, where the Electrify America is, and boy did I overcharge at the last stop. I'm getting here with 36%. But again, with this car, shouldn't matter. I should still get, ew! Sorry. It's what happens when I see a BZ4X. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I should still get full speed. I can see from here that BZ4X is at 94%. They must enjoy wasting all of their time. Anyway, have a look at the Electrify America app. It says 2 of 4 available, and there's only one car here, so apparently number 4 is out of service. I've backed in. Let's activate number 3. Swipe to start charge. I'm going to activate it via the app, even though there is a credit card reader because I have an Electrify America account, so I get a discounted rate. As a recap, last year when I was here at this station, one of the stalls was down and the other 3 were derated. Yeah! 221, 222. It's not derated and it works. Oh man. I still don't like this location because it's in a Walmart parking lot. This is not a good place for chargers, and for some reason there's shipping containers all around the chargers. Is this a port now? We're doing 234 kilowatts now. Well, 233. It's a lot of kilowatts at 52%. And onward, the next stop is in Clarksville, Tennessee, another Electrify America. It's 95 miles away. I have made it to Catawba, Kentucky. And right over there, behind the hotel, is a supercharger. And there it is. This is the same charger I stopped at in the Tesla last year. I don't like the placement of it, but it doesn't matter. That's a version 2 supercharger. And the thing about supercharger access for non-Teslas is that doesn't mean access to all superchargers. All version 2 superchargers will remain Tesla only. I can't charge here. So if I can't charge here, what am I doing here? Well, if I fire up the Tesla app, hit Charge Your EV, throws me in Africa, wait for it to find my location, or just tell it to manually, you can see that there is a supercharger here that I can charge at. But it's across the street. We hit the green light perfectly, and there's the new supercharger. These only opened like 2 months ago. Now they were built back in March, but someone at Tesla, won't name names, fired the entire supercharger team. So these sat under bags for like 6 months, but they were recently commissioned. Actually, that was wrong. This site finished construction around the end of April. The supercharger team was fired around April 30th, and then all supercharger building activity was immediately halted, and these superchargers sat under bags until they were commissioned around early August, so about 3 months. Again, I have broken out the adapter and the Tesla app. I will hit charge here. It says 6 of 8 stalls available. There's only one other car here, so one of them must be down. And 1B, oh, it's that one. That's the bad one. 1B, start charging. Take my big chunky connector. Version 4 has a much thicker cable and a completely different handle. Lock it, insert it. If there's much longer cables, it's much better for other cars that don't necessarily have the charge port in the perfect Tesla location. I arrived with 15% state of charge, and we're already doing 150 kilowatts, already up to 17%. I've also come to this same supercharger in the EV6. I can't charge here, so why am I here? It's to deliver bad news. Supercharger access does not mean the same thing for all EVs. All publicly installed superchargers, including version 4, can't output more than 500 volts. So cars like the EV6 with its greater than 500 volt battery have to use some sort of compatibility method to charge at a supercharger. In the case of the EV6, it uses the rear motor inverter as a DC booster to take the 400 volts or so it's getting from the supercharger and boost it up to the 700-ish volts to charge the battery. So it does work just fine. But the problem is this DC booster is power limited. So despite this car being able to accept 240 kilowatts and that supercharger being able to output 250 kilowatts, it can't output that to this car. Instead, it charges at 96 kilowatts. So an EV6 will take twice as long to charge at a supercharger compared to a normal CCS station like a 350 kilowatt Electrify America or whatever. And all greater than 500 volt cars charge varying degrees of worse at a supercharger. For example, a Silverado EV can normally accept up to 350 kilowatts peak, but at a supercharger, it's limited to about 190 kilowatts peak. And a Lucid Air, that car can normally accept well over 300 kilowatts, but at a supercharger, it's limited to around 45 kilowatts, which is just about useless. That's easily a 2-hour charge. There is, of course, one 800-volt car on the market that can accept the full 250 kilowatts that a supercharger could deliver, and that's, of course, the Tesla Cybertruck. So when 800-volt cars like this gain supercharger access, it does open up options, but they're not the best options most of the time. Hang on, as I was putting this video together, Tesla announced their new version 4 charging cabinets, which are finally 1000-volt capable and capable of 500 kilowatts of output, which is pretty impressive. And those are going to start rolling out sometime next year. So at least this problem has been fixed for future superchargers. All the existing ones are still 500-volt capped, though. Okay, small annoyance with the Tesla app. I'm currently charging, and normally I would take this opportunity to scout out my next charging stop. But I can't with the Tesla app. I can go into charging in progress. It shows you my current charging stats. I can view the site details of the site that I'm currently at. Here's all that information. But I can't look at a map and see the other superchargers that I want to navigate to. And that's annoying. Unlock, pull that out, hang that up, and take my adapter back. And now that I'm not charging anymore, I can show you in the Tesla app something very important. So I said that non-Teslas will never have access to version 2s because supercharger access does not mean access to all superchargers. Well, that also applies to V3 and V4. Not all V3 and V4 superchargers are open to non-Teslas NACS cars like this one. So how do you know the difference? Well, the easiest way is from the Tesla app. So I've told the Tesla app what car I have. That's not true. I've lied to the Tesla app and told it I have an F-150 Lightning and that I do have the NACS adapter. And so these are all the chargers that I can stop at. So we're going to stop at 3 superchargers in Nashville, starting with the one up north, which I've already set the nav to, and it says I'll get there at 11%. So let's go. I've made it to Clarksville, Tennessee in the Kia. Well, there's the chargers, and there's an E-Transit charging there. Didn't expect to see that. And out comes the Bolt. Electrify America, I am in Clarksville. Where do I need to plug in? Oh, it's number 2. I want to plug into number 2. Cool. 2, charger number 2. Right, that's where I pulled in. Ramping quite slowly. 193, come on, get past 200. I'm already going to call this a success, because just below, there we go. Never mind, I don't have to make excuses for it. It's going to go full speed. So that's Electrify America success number 2. This isn't, oh boy, oh boy. Turned on the camera for some scenery, and then... Now, where to go next? There are 4 above 100 kilowatt chargers in Nashville, but this one I'm going to ignore. So I'm going to go to this one first, I think. Opry Mills, 8 plugs. It's an Electrify America. That's our next destination. I've been here less than 5 minutes and already I'm ready to go because the next stop's 48 miles away and I've got 50 miles of buffer. Well, I still don't like Walmart as a charging location, but at least the chargers work as expected this year, which is a nice change up from last year where they very much didn't. Say hello again to Nashville traffic. Doesn't matter, I'm getting off here. Goodbye, Nashville traffic. I'll rejoin you very soon. Now this supercharger, just like the last one I stopped at, was not here a year ago. It's new-ish. Oh, it's at a hotel. Fail. Stop putting superchargers in hotels! Why are we still doing this? It's a 16-stall supercharger. It's taking up half the friggin' parking lot, too. All right, which one of these mini ones do I stop at? All right, time again for the adapter and app shuffle. Charge here. I'm at 2D. Start charging. Plug in. I almost didn't get close enough. And just like that, we're at 150 kilowatts. I can't use the Tesla app, so I have to use PlugShare to pick the next charger. And I got to point out that the one in the middle of Nashville here, I went there last year in the Tesla. That is a version 3 supercharger. It's not open to non-Teslas, so I cannot stop there. So instead, I'm going to go to this one, Willbrook Commons. We're now leaving the hotel parking lot where superchargers should never be. And we're on our way to technically the Electrify America. That's what I've set in the nav, so it'll precondition, but on the other side of the parking lot is what we're actually going to, a 24-stall supercharger. I'm now driving past that Hampton Inn over there where the superchargers were, and I've got 6 miles to go until I get to the Electrify America. Also, you'll notice it's dark now. There was a time change between the Polestar and the EV6 run, and I got a later start in the EV6. So it's dark. It's dark now for me in the EV6. All right, well, this Electrify America's at a mall. Don't love mall chargers. When something charges as quickly as this car, you don't have any time to do anything in a mall. There's an Aria and a Polestar. All right, what we got here? We've got. Are any of them down? No. Well, let's plug in, see if I get full power, and then immediately unplug. All right, I've plugged in. Make the noise.
Starting.
Thank you. This is a brand new site with all new hardware, 222 kilowatts. Now it's time to unplug, because I've already got enough to get to the next spot. Now on to the next one. Look at all these choices. And there's only 5 cars here. I could do a pull through. I'm gonna do a pull through. Yeah. Go into the Tesla app. So that is a photo from not this location. Doesn't matter. Charge here. This handle's quite warm. Someone was just charging here. We'll plug it in. 148 kilowatts. Okay, I'm gonna go now. We're gonna arrive at the next charger, which is 3 miles away with 14%. There's almost too many supercharger options now, and this next one I'm going to is also a 24-stall unit. All right, stop number 2 in Nashville. The Electrify America with 8 stalls, and would you look at that? They've replaced all the hardware since last year. When I was here last year, 3 of the 8 stalls were out of order, and when I was finally able to plug in, the stall that I plugged into was derated. I don't think there's any down stalls. There aren't, because there's 2 cars charging, there's 8 stalls. All of them are functional, so I guess just pick one. Ready to go. There we go. Make the noise.
Starting.
Thank you. Full power. This is so good. And now I can already unplug because I'm at 24% and it's not very far to the next charger. I have arrived at the 3rd supercharger in the Nashville area. Technically, I'm in Berry Hill. Oh, that's not a good sign. There is caution tape around those, and he's in a cabinet. There's a man in the cabinet. Also, all of these are new. These were not here when I did this thing last year. So that's another supercharger that's brand new. All right, so what does the Tesla app say about that whole situation over there? No, I'm not in Africa. Service reduced. That's all it says, reduced service. 3A, start charging. 149 kilowatts. Things are happening. He's pulling the caution tape off of those chargers over there, and he's putting cones where I currently am. So I need to get out of here. This one is just too far out of the way. I'm not going to go there. So we're going to go down 24, and the first NACS site is there at Elmville Station Exxon. I'm only at 27%, but I can make it to the next supercharger at 16%, so I'm going to unplug it now. Okay, I'll be honest, the last CCS charger we're stopping at in Nashville is significantly more off the route than I thought it was by looking at the map. But we're here now. Oh no, it's in a parking garage? Oh, I've really screwed up. All of these all share power, and they're all being used by one car. So I'll park next to this Niro here. EVgo has an app, and you can also activate via credit card on the thing. But one thing that EVgo also has in addition to that is auto charge, which has been set up for this car. So all I have to do to activate a charge on this is plug it in. And it should, yeah, there we go. Say the thing.
Charging started.
I'm sharing power with this Niro over here. How much power do you think I'm gonna get out of it? 173 kilowatts, which I'm not gonna complain about. Another cool thing about EVgo is this. Session details, volts, amps, kilowatts, duration, kilowatt hours delivered. You can also see this for the Niro. Home, Niro. session details. They're a 400 volt car, 62 amps. I mean, they're almost fully charged. I'm in Smyrna, Tennessee. This supercharger is about a mile off the interstate, and I remember this one from last year in the Tesla because it's behind a Dunkin' and a gas station. Another supercharger all to myself. Ain't no one else here. I'm gonna park at this real sad looking one that's clearly been backed into. And just like that, we're doing full power. Oh, it's right down the road. That's not a supercharger. Do I stop here anyway? It has NACS plugs. We're gonna stop here anyway. Let's get out of here. On to the next stop, which is 12 miles away. Yeah, this is definitely a charger meant for locals rather than people passing through like I am. And if I would have paid attention to PlugShare, I would have noticed it says garage at the end of it. Anyway, let's pick the next stop, which is Murfreesboro. Goodbye, EVgo. I liked that experience, aside from the whole in a garage, not on a route thing. Let's get out of here. Look at that! Some chargers. Okay, now, the reason I'm here at a not supercharger is because PlugShare said that there were NACS cables on these. And if they are true native NACS cables, this is the first charger with a NACS cable I've seen in the wild. So let's get out and see. Okay, right port, 200 kilowatts DC max, and left port, NACS, 200 kilowatts. Is it? It is! Man, look at this ugly thing. Oh my God, it has a second handle down there. Soon, lots of chargers will have this handle, and this won't be as much of a rarity as it is today. This is unwieldy with one hand. Also, I gotta put the adapter on there. Okay, I installed the adapter. Got a hold of it by the other. This is like walking a dog. This is so heavy. Wonder what this cable's limited to. Hopefully it's not 200 amps. It is limited to 350 amps. That's not 200 kilowatts. That's 150 at most on a 400 volt car. Anyway, let's see how easy it is to use. There's no app. It's only credit card reader, which I approve of massively. Plug in to continue. Connect vehicle. Okay, let's do that. Use this massive thing down here. Oh my God. It's so stupid. I could just use the CCS connector and forget the adapter, but this is what we're doing now. Oh, jeez. This is stupid. There we go. I got it. Vehicle connected. I was looking at the wrong section. Insert payment. It's gonna work? Approved! That was quick. I hear sounds. Beginning session. Is it going? It's going! 6 kilowatts! Boy, this ramps slowly. There we go, full power, and the cable said 350 amps, but we're boosting over that right now. I guess I shouldn't have judged the book by its cover. 368 amps, we're getting full power out of this charger. Awesome. Hey look, it's this place. I feel like I was just here 2 days ago. Weird. Well, the CCS cable is just as chunky as the NACS cable. Wrangle this recently fed Python into place. Vehicle connected, insert payment. I shall do that now. Accepted, beginning session. I love how easy this is. Now I should max out this station. Well, it looks like I'm not gonna hit 200 kilowatts like it says it can do. It looks like it's gonna top out at 178 for whatever reason. That's only a 20 kilowatt difference, but it is a difference. Look at this thing. It's like a tiny little pin nose on a dolphin. I did not need to use my adapter here. There's a CCS handle on the other side, but I wanted to. Let's go! On to the next stop, 56 miles away. It says I'll get there with 11%. Good chargers, terrible amenities. On to the next stop, which is in Manchester, Tennessee, only 34 miles away. And Electrify America, that I went to last year and experienced a lot of D-rated charger sessions. Let's see if it's better this year. I have arrived in Monteagle, Tennessee, which is suddenly foggy. Oh yeah, I remember this supercharger from last year too. It's at the Piggly Wiggly. 1C, start charging. 150 kilowatts. Manchester, Tennessee, and Electrify America. I was here last year in the Polestar, and it's still in a terrible location over a mile off the interstate behind a Dollar General. But look! They've upgraded the hardware. It's all new dispensers, and instead of 2 150s and 2 350 kilowatts, it's now 4 350 kilowatt stalls, so I can just pick any one of them. Well, there's a problem with the app. It's hung up on processing payment. So looks like we're going to try the credit card reader at this one. Plug in first, don't mind if I do. Connecting to vehicle, guest. Authorizing.
Charging started.
There we go. And just like that, full power. Don't know why the activation was so annoying, but we got it activated with a credit card. Kimball, Tennessee, 12 stall version 3 supercharger, and I'm again the only one here. 150 kilowatts. Shocker. Monteagle, Tennessee. This is an EVgo at a Pilot truck stop. Love these. These chargers are on the EVgo network, so you know what that means. Plug it in. Payment has been authorized. How convenient. Full power! Supercharger number 1 in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
You have arrived.
Where is it? I don't see anything anywhere. There's the supercharger, next to a Whole Foods. Ooh, it's under a canopy! 150 kilowatts. Charging stop number 1 in Chattanooga, in a completely unlit parking lot behind an abandoned building. Great location. Well, it looks like the Electrify America app still is not working. It's not going past the processing payment page. So I'm going to use a credit card reader here. Yay. And, you know, I'm okay with calling that full power. It's 20 kilowatts shy of what it should be getting, but I want to get out of here. This is quite a good Electrify America locations. You have such amenities as abandoned building and another abandoned building. Great spot. And the final supercharger stop of the trip. Out in the middle of a mall parking lot. 150 kilowatts. Out of every supercharger I stopped at, I had no issue. Charging stop number 2.
Charging started.
Full power. Here at this wonderful Electrify America station, we have such amenities as parking lot, highway, other parking lot. What is this location? Why? What have we done here? Why have we picked this? And finally, the last stop of the trip at the Volkswagen factory in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Okay, honestly, that's not quite full power. Oh, never mind. 228 kilowatts. We do have full power. It just took a minute, I guess. What a difference a year makes. As a reminder, last year I had problems at every single stop, and this year it was almost perfect. Now granted, the first 3 chargers that I stopped at, I only got full power out of them because I showed up with an 800 volt car. Several of the chargers were a pain in the butt to activate, and the Electrify America app stopped working at some point for who knows what reason. But that's small potatoes compared to the deluge of issues I had last year. And by the way, killing and restarting the Electrify America app several times did not fix it, but for some reason restarting my phone did. Since I did this trip last year, all of the CCS sites had been either repaired or replaced, and 6 new CCS and 3 new supercharger sites had been built. There's so many good options now. So to answer the question I asked at the beginning of this video, no. Supercharger access is not as big of a deal this year as it would have been last year. Last year, superchargers were just about the only thing that worked, but now everything worked, which I was super happy to find out, considering superchargers kind of suck for 800 volt cars. And unless you have a Ford Rivian or a Tesla, superchargers are kind of annoying to activate because they have to be activated with an app on your phone. There is no other alternative. Now, some supercharger sites have been built with credit card readers, but to my knowledge, none of those card readers are actually active, so you can't even use them. And there's no instructions at most of these supercharger sites, and if they do have instructions, it's just a little tiny QR code in a place you wouldn't expect to look. So rather than being the only thing you can rely on, superchargers are now just another option. And at least on this route, there's a lot of options. It's now possible to pick chargers based on things like amenities, convenience, and price rather than, well, there's only one charger for 100 miles. I guess I'm stopping at that one in the back alley of the Dollar General. Again, just like last year, this is one route on one day. It's not going to be like this everywhere. However, the experience I had on this trip is reflective of the experience I've had charging in the past year. It's just better now. And it's only going to get better from here. That's enough positivity. If you're a charging provider, stop putting under-spec'd cables on your chargers. I'm looking at you, Francis Energy. You're far from the only ones to do this, but you're one of the worst offenders. If the charger says 150 kilowatts on it, I better be able to get 150 kilowatts out of it, even with a 400 volt car. Also, the location choice for most of the chargers on this trip was just awful, and I'm including superchargers in that. We had hotels, malls, empty parking lots. 2 of the Electrify America locations in Chattanooga seem to have been chosen maliciously. And back to positivity. Wow, the EV6 charges fast. Not only does it charge at over 200 kilowatts, it holds over 200 kilowatts past 50%. And it does over 150 kilowatts all the way to 80%. Oh no, I just had a realization. The trip went well and I had a mostly positive experience, so this video is going to do terribly. Only negative videos do well.